Ever feel like you're just kind of stuck on autopilot at work, like just going through the
Oh,
motions?
yeah. I know that feeling.
You're definitely not alone. And you know what? That's actually where this book, Your Best Work, Your Best Life by Danny Stoll, really comes in.
That's a good one.
And for this deep dive, we're going to unlock those juicy insights about ditching that whole just surviving thing and actually
Oh, I
thriving.
love that because what's so cool about this book is Stoll's not all about just climbing the corporate ladder.
Right.
He's like, look, you got to find fulfillment everywhere in your life.
Yeah.
And it all starts by shifting from just surviving to really thriving.
Okay, so let's break that down.
Yeah.
What does it actually look like to thrive at work? I mean, is it like getting a corner office or?
It's not about the corner office.
Okay, good.
It's more about mindset. Think about those weeks when you're drowning in emails.
Right.
You're just reacting to everything, barely keeping your head above water. Total survival mode.
Yep.
Stoll says thriving is about you becoming the architect of your own work life.
Yeah.
You're proactive, not just reactive.
I like that. So instead of feeling stuck in those meetings, you're asking, how can I actually make a difference here?
Yes, exactly. And a big thing is being intentional with your work. It's not about just setting random goals.
Right.
It's about getting clear on what you want to achieve and then break it down into doable steps.
He's all about those small wins.
Right?
Didn't he mention some research about that?
Oh, yeah. Locke and Latham. They found that when you have those super specific goals, you're actually more motivated and you get more done.
It's like that awesome feeling of checking things off your list.
Exactly. Momentum. But it's not about burning yourself out. Stoll's big on aligning your work with your strengths. And to unlock that, you got to cultivate a growth mindset.
I hear growth mindset everywhere. What does it actually mean?
It's how you see your abilities. Do you believe you can always learn and grow? Or are you stuck thinking your talents are fixed?
Oh, so it's like I can learn this versus I'm stuck this way.
Exactly. With a growth mindset, you're open to challenges. You see setbacks as learning opportunities.
I can see how that would change everything. If you believe you can improve, you're more willing to step outside that comfort zone. But how do we actually get this growth mindset?
Stoll's got 4 steps. Embrace challenges. Learn from feedback. Don't give up and focus on the effort, not just the results.
That last one is huge. It's so easy to get caught up in the outcome, but learning from those failures, that's where the growth happens.
Totally. And you know what's really interesting? The book says that building your people skills is a huge part of that growth mindset we were just talking about.
So we're talking about getting out of our comfort zones, right? Embracing those opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
And you're saying having strong people skills is like a superpower for that.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like Stoll says, you could be the most brilliant mind in the room. But if you can't communicate your ideas, if you can't work with people, your potential, it's limited.
So it's not just what, it's how you connect with others.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sold. What are those must-have people skills we need?
Stoll lays out 5 core skills, and he starts with active listening. We've all heard it, but he's like, hold on. It's not just about hearing words. It's about truly being present in the conversation, picking up on those cues, both verbal and nonverbal, and making a real effort to get where they're coming from.
So it's about being present, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
Exactly. And that's where things like paraphrasing come in. He gives this example like saying, okay, so what I'm hearing is, just to make sure you're both on the same page.
Showing them you're really listening, that you value their input.
Exactly. That simple reflection can build so much trust and understanding.
Powerful stuff. Okay, so active listening. What else is on Stoll's list?
Next up, empathy. He says it's absolutely essential in the workplace.
Okay, but how do you define empathy?
It's putting yourself in their shoes, trying to see the world through their eyes, understand their feelings, even if you don't agree with their perspective.
So leading with understanding, not judgment. Okay, I like it. But how does this play out at work?
Stoll gives this great example. Let's say you have a coworker who's always missing deadlines. Your first thought might be, come on, man. Right.
It's easy to get frustrated.
But an empathetic approach is like, okay, what's going on here? Maybe there's a personal crisis. Maybe they're overwhelmed. Instead of assuming, you could say, hey, I've noticed you're struggling with deadlines. Is there anything I can do to help?
Night and day difference there.
Huge. And you know what's wild? Deloitte did research, and empathy is one of the most important leadership skills for the future.
Makes sense. As the workplace keeps changing, being able to really connect with your colleagues, it's only going to get more important.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got active listening, empathy. What else?
Let's hear it.
Clear and assertive communication. And he's clear that being assertive isn't aggressive. It's about advocating for yourself and your ideas, but respectfully.
So finding that balance, right? Not a pushover, not a bulldozer.
Exactly. He gives a whole framework for this. It's about stating your needs, inviting collaboration, being open to hearing different viewpoints. It's
Yeah.
about finding those win-win situations.
Which ties into his next point, perfectly conflict resolution.
Right.
Disagreements happen, but it's how you handle them that makes or breaks you.
So true. Stoll says conflict isn't always bad, it's just a difference of opinions. The key is being constructive. He says stay calm, focus on the problem, not the person, and always look for that common ground.
So it's not about winning the argument, it's about finding a solution that works for everyone.
Exactly. And last but not least, he talks about adaptability. You got to be flexible with your communication style. We're in a global workplace now. You can't communicate the same way with everyone and expect it to land.
It's like reading the room, knowing your audience, adjusting your style to fit.
Exactly. And there's research on this too. McKinsey says adaptability is one of the top skills for success in the future of work.
Makes sense. The world's changing faster than ever. Those who can roll with those changes, they're going to thrive. So we've covered Stoll's 5 core people skills. Any practical tips for actually improving in these areas?
He's got a few. First, self-awareness. Take time to reflect on your interactions, maybe even keep a journal.
Right.
What went well? What could be better? Second, get feedback from people you trust, colleagues, mentors. That outside perspective is gold. And finally, practice, practice, practice. Like any skill, it takes consistent effort.
Practice makes progress. Speaking of progress, Stoll says there's one big thing that can really trip us up on the road to success, both at work and in life. Perfectionism. Perfectionism, that sneaky thing. Always trying to trip us up.
Right. Like asterisk, no asterisk, we shouldn't aim for perfect, but it's so easy to fall into that trap.
Totally. And Stoll, he doesn't mess around. He dives right into how much perfectionism costs us.
Oh, yeah. It's pricey, time, energy. It's a resource drain for sure.
So let's break it down. What are some of those hidden costs he talks about?
Well, he says perfectionism steals your time, straight up. Ever spend like an hour on an email that should have taken 10 minutes?
All the time. Trying to make it just asterisk right.
It's that diminishing returns thing. You obsess over every little detail. All that time you could be using for something way more productive.
It's like you're baking a cake, right?
Yeah.
It already tastes amazing, but you're spending hours on the icing design that nobody will even notice.
Exactly. And it feeds into another cost.
Right.
Fear of failure. You set these crazy high standards, then you're terrified of not meeting them.
It's paralyzing. You end up procrastinating or avoiding stuff altogether.
Totally. And get this, Stoll connects perfectionism to burnout. Like all that pressure to be perfect, it's exhausting.
That makes so much sense. We think of burnout from too much work, but the pressure itself is draining.
For sure. And here's the kicker. You might even miss out on good opportunities because you're waiting for the perfect moment.
So true. Sometimes good enough is actually perfect, especially if it means you're moving forward.
100%. So how do we break free?
Yeah, what's the antidote to this perfectionism thing?
Stoll says shift your focus. From perfection to asterisk progress, asterisk respectable. Don't try to be perfect, just try to keep improving.
I like that. It's less about the destination, more about the journey.
Exactly. And a tool he recommends is the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. You familiar with that one?
Refresh my memory.
So it's the idea that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your effort. Perfectionists, they get hung up on that last 20%, the tiny stuff.
Oh, I do that. Tweaking a presentation forever when it's already good.
Happens to the best of us. But focus on the 20% that actually makes a difference, right?
Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. He also talks about setting realistic goals and deadlines. Because perfectionists, they tend to go overboard, then get overwhelmed.
Smaller steps, right? Makes
Yeah.
it less scary.
For sure. And this one's big. Give yourself permission to fail.
Ooh, that's tough, especially for us recovering perfectionists.
Takes time. But Stoll says failure. It's how you grow. Don't be afraid to try stuff.
Easier said than done, but so true.
He even has a reframe for it. Instead of dwelling on the mistake, ask, what can I learn?
Ooh, turn those failures into feedback. I love it. So we're ditching perfection, setting realistic goals, embracing the stumbles. What else helps?
Stoll has this mantra, done is better than perfect. Remember that.
Okay, that's going on a sticky note. Done is better than perfect. Love it. So we're making progress, not chasing perfection. What about building a career that lasts?
That's where he talks about long-term success. And it's not just about climbing the ladder, it's about building a legacy.
Legacy. That's powerful. What does that even look like at work?
He says it's not about chasing achievements or needing praise. It's about finding work that lights you up, that aligns with your values.
Because if you're passionate, it doesn't even feel asterisk like work, right?
Exactly. And he's big on continuous learning. The world's changing fast. You got to keep growing those
It's
skills.
that growth mindset in action.
Yes.
Yes.
And strong relationships matter too.
Yeah.
You don't succeed alone. You need those colleagues, mentors, clients cheering you on.
It's like a support system, but also people who challenge you to grow.
Exactly. And of course, adaptability. Change is constant. Got to be able to roll with it.
Be the one who bends, not breaks.
Yes. And finally, set those long-term goals, but be patient. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Trust the process.
Play the long game.
Yes. And that's where legacy comes back in. What impact do you want to make? It's a big question, but it's motivating.
This book has given us so much to think about. It's not just about a job, it's about purpose, making a difference.
Totally. The biggest takeaway from your best work, your best life, is that you don't have to choose between success and happiness. You can have both.
So well said. Your best work, your best life is a must-read. We just scratched the surface, so definitely check it out. And until next time, keep diving deep.